It's 1950 in Mexico City, and Daniel Craig plays William Lee, an American expatriate writer who is living there because he's gay and he hates himself. He's living on the fringes of society, right? Like away from everybody who's hateful in the United States, amongst a small group of other basically expats, also gay male, I think, writers and artists in Mexico City. And he is drifting from bar to bar, day drinking and smoking cigarettes and using opiates and trading partners freely. When one day he comes across Drew Starkey, a young man, blonde haired, blue eyed, playing a character named Eugene Allerton, who's another American expat, a GI. And he immediately takes a fancy to him. The two of them strike up a conversation. Eventually, this leads to a bit of a relationship. But Starkey keeps William Lee at a distance. He doesn't really get an opportunity to connect with him. So William Lee comes up with the great idea to take Eugene along with him on a trip deep into the forests, the jungles of South America, to look for the yaye, or as we call it in the United States, ayahuasca, and maybe find out more about its psychotelepathic capabilities. The film is queer. It's from director Luca Guadagnino, who formerly did Challengers late last year or early last year. This is an adaptation of a William S. Burroughs novel. I know that Luca Guadagnino read the novel, I think when he was 17 or 18. He loved it. He wanted to make a movie out of it. It never really happened. And then while he was working on Challengers with screenwriter Justin Kurtzkis, who'd also wrote the screenplay for Past Lives, Celine Song's last film. They were working on that movie together, and they got to talking. Guadagnino gave him a copy of Queer from William S. Burroughs, and an originally unfinished work. Kurtzkis loved it, wrote up a screenplay, and here we are. 6 months later, we have a movie. That's how it works. I told Andy when we were talking about this. Reminds me of Ty West and Mia Goth making Pearl after X. Right? It was COVID, and they just like, well, let's just make another one, right? We'll just do it. And that's the setting for Queer. It's quite a film, surprisingly surreal, a little long in a way that I didn't expect, but I think maybe also a little raw in a way that I didn't expect, and heartfelt in a way that was surprising. So I'm looking forward to talking about it. Andy, what did you think of Queer?
This film was definitely a challenge to watch. It's slow paced. I've seen Naked Lunch, which is also a William S. Burroughs film or novel and film made by David Cronenberg. A similar kind of setup. That film is also challenging as well. It's a little slow. It's a bit of a homework film. It's a bit of eating your vegetables because it's challenging to get through, but it is very kind of fascinating to talk about afterwards. It deals with themes of self-love, self-harm, self-destruction. There's lots of weird symbolism, having like dream sequences. But this is ultimately about a relationship between two people who are into each other, but then one person is at a distance for some reason, and Daniel Craig's character can't really figure out why. He keeps trying to kind of bribe his way into Gene's life. He's like, he offers him, a salary, or here, let's go on a trip, and I'll pay for everything. He's constantly feels like he's having to like court and recourt him, and he kind of fails to look inwardly at what might be wrong with him, or what issues he might have. He drinks a lot. He's an opiate addict. He's got a lot of problems, and so it's a kind of fascinating way to tell the story. I have been thinking about it since I saw it, but man, it was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's long and it's odd, and it's got some dreamlike stuff, especially in the third act, that I think can push people off. I didn't even know any of it was going into a jungle. I just kind of figured it was all going to be in like bars in Mexico City, and this is going to be 100 minutes. And when you told me like, oh no, it's over 2 hours, I was like, what do you mean? And there's a point where I paused this movie, I never go to the bathroom, and was like stunned at the runtime that was left, because it just feels like in its first act, it moves along so good. It's slow and it's odd for sure, but our setting is rock solid. Craig is this just like sweaty shell of a man who has nobody in his life except for a couple friends who are way more cynical than him and are constantly taken advantage of, like Jason Schwartzman, a man who is constantly having things stolen from him by lovers who are like sleeping with him and immediately leaving his house and taking his stereo and whatnot. Like these people are just living in a state of decay. Like everything around them is falling apart. They have to talk in hushed tones because if anybody hears them at the bar, they'll be like, oh my God, you're gay. And it's the 50s, right? Like it's so taboo in a way that they just cannot have any real connection. And Daniel Craig is this man who is drunk and high and paranoid all the time. You reminded me of like Hunter S. Thompson, right? Like that Las Vegas movie. And
Fear and Loathing in Las
Fear and Loathing in
Vegas.
Las Vegas. Terry Gilliam, yeah, Johnny Depp plays him. Yeah, reminded me a lot of that. And but then Drew Starkey shows up, and he's this man who is like so the opposite. He seems so firm and resolute and sturdy and solid. He's a thin guy, but like he just has a presence, and Craig can't look away from him. Like, he can't keep his eyes off him. He's just like mystified by this guy. Like, he doesn't even know if he's queer or not, right? Like, and courting him and getting to know him and starting to kind of reach in there, like you start to see this personal growth in Craig that he can feel in himself. It's a fantastic performance. But then things start to turn sideways and Starkey starts to pull away and Craig gets desperate and he starts to feel thin, like he's losing everything, you know? Like it's real good drama, but it's thick drama, and it's a lot of it's like not spoken. It's a little dialogue, and the stuff that is there is odd William S. Burroughs dialogue that I don't understand. Like, I think Naked Lunch is probably an apt comparison, and that's all set up for like a third act that gets even wilder that we're not going to talk about here because we don't do spoilers on this show. But overall, it's a much more indulgent feature from Guadagnino. Like, Challengers was indulgent, but Challengers was like, we got 3 hot up-and-coming stars. It's a sports movie. We got to deal with IMAX, baby. Like, take your friends and go see Challengers in March. This is way more like dialed back, awards season. You got to go to one of the small screens to see it, you know, and that's part of the reason we missed it. Now that it's on Max, much more accessible, but certainly an odd feature.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Craig's performance, which is really stellar. I'd heard great things. A lot of people felt that he got snubbed for an Oscar nomination. He really disappears into this role because we know him as confident, suave James Bond, and here he is as someone who's capable of meeting and interacting with people, but he just kind of falls to awkward pieces around Gene. And he embarrasses himself a lot, just trying to get his attention and trying to really be, kind of partnered up, be something more serious. And he's sweating constantly. His hair is terrible. He looks like he just disappears into the role. And I don't see James Bond. I don't see Daniel Craig. I see the person that he is, which is really sad, and in someone who's kind of incapable of making the changes he needs to in order to maintain this relationship.
Yeah, I love our setting too. Like, Mexico City, like, looks surreal, and it looks surreal for a couple of reasons. A, because I think a lot of it's sets for sure. B, because a lot of the skies look fake, which is weird. There's definitely some bad skies and some backgrounds. Like, I'll be watching the movie scene and suddenly think like, oh God, I'm pulled out of here. And C, because I think a lot of it's miniature, which is really thoughtful. Yeah. It took me a little while to nail it. Yeah, but there's a few sunrise and sunset shots that like just look unique in a way. They almost have like a tilt shift, like toy feature. This actually comes up in that surreal third act I was talking about. It does kind of lead into something. But for the first few parts, I was like, this just seems like such a dreamlike city, like bathed in these big yellow lights, like big harsh shadows. Like, it just seems like a place that's out of time and out of reality. And it kind of works perfect for where Craig is, because he's a man who is hiding. Like, he's hiding from the world, and most importantly, he's hiding from himself. Weird place for a writer to be, but I think that's kind of where William S. Burroughs was. So finding this other character, Eugene, who was of military service and has exited that because that wasn't for him, and his exit to the United States wasn't for him. He is also a man who's running from something. And like, that connection that they have is immediate, it's tangible, and it's fiery, and it's hot. And you get some very hot scenes in this movie. But it all leads to a film that is long, and a film that is complicated, and a film that has a very unique ending, because I think, as I understand it, Guadagnino and Kurtzkis wrote it themselves. The original film was the original book was unfinished, as I understand it, so they had to come up with this. And what's here is good, actually, and I'm with Andy. Like, I've been thinking about this movie more and more since I've walked away from it, but it's odd. And out of Guadagnino's recent films, because we've seen a lot of his recent stuff, this one I think is not at the top and not at the bottom. It's in the middle in a way that's unique and strange. It's got its own shape.
Yeah. So just about the end of the novel, the novel was unfinished, and then there were a set of letters called the Yahe Papers, which is mentioned in the film, where he's on the search for this drug that he believes to be telepathic. Those are letters that Burroughs wrote towards the end of his life, and so it looks like they've kind of mixed those letters along with the unfinished novel, and that's kind of how we come. William S. Burroughs, very strange figure. He was put on trial in Mexico for accident or for killing his wife in a kind of a drunken accident where they tried to reenact a William Tell style thing where she put a glass on her top of his head and he tried to like shoot it off and shot her in the face. And he was arrested and he was on trial, eventually fled back to the States. So just like really bizarre stories. So you see a lot of himself in Naked Lunch. Naked Lunch, it involves a plot device of him of that character killing their wife, and we get some reenactment of things like this. So it's very much self-inserted in his work.
Yeah. A couple other points on Queer before we move on to recommendations. I want to say I love the look of this movie. One of the things we do here on the podcast, little peek behind the scenes, is post clips of our work and our reviews to YouTube, and we'll often have to go produce a thumbnail out of that, right? Like a great face with some text, font. You've seen it. You've been on YouTube before. It's the picture you click on to get to the video. Well, often for some smaller features like A24's Death of a Unicorn that we covered here, it might be hard to find a good, clear, crisp screenshot with great composition where you can clearly see somebody's face and you can do it. It is no challenge with this movie. Like, it is such a good looking movie for having a small budget. It looks fantastic. Guadagnino worked with his longtime cinematographer, a man whose name I'm going to butcher right here, Sayumbo Muktapram. Butchered it, but I think I got through it okay. He shot most of Guadagnino's work. He shot this. Looks fantastic. No complaints about the appearance. Secondly, ton of good needle drops. Ton of good needle drops in this movie, dude. Great music. Really great music. There's a great track by New World Order with this one long oneer of Daniel Craig consuming an opiate and then just kind of like smoking a cigarette and just thinking about it, like looking off into the night air. Like fantastic. Couple like deep cuts from the Prince catalog like were released after his passing that are basically just like unedited, unheard studio recordings. Like real weird stuff in the soundtrack for Queer, but it's a good time. Like great looking movie, great sounding movie. Craig's tremendous. I feel like I'm saying this is a great time, but it's also a struggle, you know? Like it's unique in a way that I think is not for everybody.
Right. It's very slow. It's very much people talking in rooms. They're in the bar. They're in multiple bars. They're in people's apartments and people's rooms, and it's lots of conversations about life and where they're at and what they want. It's a people talking movie, and it's over 2 hours, so it's a lot to get through, I think.
Definitely. Andy, would you recommend Luca Guadagnino's Queer?
I would say if you're a fan of Guadagnino's work or Daniel Craig and you're interested in this, want to see what it's all about, I would recommend it for that. If you're on the fence or not real sure, if none of this sounds interesting you, I would say probably pass for most people because, like I said, it's a struggle. It is a homework film. It's a eat your vegetables kind of movie. But if you're interested, check it out.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. This movie's challenging in a way that I think is good. Like good art challenges you. But we're at nearly on episode 300 of the movie podcast, and we were challenged by this. So I don't know what you're getting into if you've never done a movie like this, but it's tough. It's not for everybody for sure, but I think it's special. And I like this line, I think, from IndieWire. They said Daniel Craig burns a hole in the screen. He sure does, dude. I don't know if he got snubbed for an Oscar. He got a lot of other noms. He's great in this. Starkey's great in this. Guadagnino's great. No complaints about Queer. It's odd, but I think it's a good time. And I'm going to be thinking about it for a long time, especially that great one in the middle of it. Anyway, that's Off Script episode 288. My God, Andy, what a week at the movies. What are we watching next week?
So next week we're doing all streaming, no theatrical releases for us. We'll be taking a look at Y2K, the horror comedy film, which is streaming on Max starting April 4th. One of Them Days, which is the another comedy film starring Kiki Palmer and SZA, which is now streaming on Netflix. We're going to be taking a look at that. That was a small hit from January. And then Adolescence, of course, we're going to be talking about the whole show, episodes 1 through 4. No spoilers next week. Some FYI releases. The Minecraft movie comes out this week, April 4th. If you're interested in that, take the kids, take the family. And some upcoming things that we're looking for or that are coming out in April. Drop, which is the cell phone horror film that doesn't look very good, but I've had to see the trailer like 10 times so far. That comes out April 11th, along with The Amateur, which is Rami Malek's CIA revenge action film, also on April 11th. Sinners, which is probably what we're most excited for this month, comes out April 18th. That, of course, stars Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. And The Accountant 2, which is a Ben Affleck vehicle, will be out at the end of the month on April 25th. But for next week, Y2K and One of Them Days.
On Offscript, we're all in adolescence. That's right. On Offscript, we're all about authentic news here. So we don't typically entertain rumors, but it's the end of the show, and I want to say I heard the Minecraft movie is god awful, and I don't know if it's god awful, but I heard it is, and I don't know if we're gonna end up watching it on the show. But currently, no big plans, man. Like that movie just does not look like my game. You know what I mean? And I played Minecraft. You'd think I'd be into it, but I don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed the show today, episode 288 of Offscript Film Review, the best thing you can do is just follow us on any sort of social media. Give us a Google, man. Like anything helps. Any SEO, tell your buddies, Offscript Film Review. Tell your buddies are doing a podcast and you're going to check it out with them. Hey, go check out that YouTube page. No joke. You might even see something you like. You might even see a video. You go, hold on a second. I didn't know they covered this. I didn't know Andy and Zach took a look. I should watch this video. You should. And leave a rating and a review and a like and a comment and a subscribe and notification bell. You guys know how this works. You're all online just like us. All these are social media stuff. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our audio listeners can find us on Spotify, iHeartMedia, iTunes, Amazon Play, Google Plus, Google Prime. You can find our website, offscriptfilmreview.com, and you can email us correspondence directly at offscriptfilmreview.com. Really, guys, any kind of like or anything helps. A comment, a sweet thing, a +1. I don't know why I'm asking. You guys are the best. You're the best fans ever. If you enjoy, I said if you enjoyed the show today, I'm crashing out. Andy, I got to bail. I got to bail on Offscript.
Bail out. Bail
out. All right, it's time. All right, from all of us at Offscript, the home of both cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.